I think queer people are only sort of allowed to express ourselves in maybe liberal arts, but like we're not allowed to speak in terms of a more official history, for example, because we're not acceptable in today's society. So I guess this is my attempt to, like a radical attempt to challenge the system. Yeah. I'm Isola Tong, and I am a faculty at Benilde, Department of Architecture, and I've been teaching for around 4 years already. I'm usually teaching design, theory, and sometimes I teach art theory. I also have my own practice as an artist. My practice is about queer theories and how it cuts across ecology and the environment, either natural or built. So, having read Cirilo, I realized how we can turn this narrative around by looking at our own history from our lens. So there's that decolonial aspect to his writing, which I really like, because for such a long time we've been relying on our, Americans or the Spanish for our historical references. So this is my work, which I entitled Pulong Buhangin. I did my zine through a game called The Sims, because I wanted my work to be a bit playful. I've been dabbling with virtuality in my work since 2019. I had this theory I called transdimension, because in virtuality, I am free to explore my subjectivity. So virtuality became a sort of a very free space to explore and express. That's why I thought of using the game to create a transgender character, to create a babaylan character, and invented a story which is still based on the actual historical facts that have transpired in the early 16th century. But I told it from the point of view of a babaylan who lives in this made-up island where I created an architecture, an imagined Filipino architecture, an imagined dambana, because that's how we Filipinos call sacred spaces. And then from those sort of facts that I gathered from my own research, I invented this architectural speculation. These are basically just me playing around with the characters, and then they're just doing stuff, and then I just superimpose text and imagine like a dialogue based on the history. I mean, I believe each one of us have our own internal reality. But then I wanted to sort of articulate that by manipulating the colors. It's really painful in the eye, but then that's the point. It's meant to offend the senses. Going back to Cirilo, I think he also did the same with history. He colored history in a very, it became so vivid for me. I guess that's why my zine became so colorful as well, because that's when I was reading him, that's how I felt also. My only message for my students, and not only my students but also younger kids outside Benilde, is you guys need to discover and read more local authors, including Cirilo Bautista, who's a very important Filipino writer. Because for such a long time, we've been looking at ourselves from the lens of outsiders. I know we've been free from the US for how many years now? Maybe 70-ish years. But then we haven't really figured out, we're still lacking that confidence.